In today's show, the Crows fly north.
So we're going to have 2 flights. Unfortunately, I can't take 155 pieces of equipment.
An update from the football department, and we revisit the club's first win against the Suns at Metricon Stadium. Hi everyone, and welcome to the Optus Crows Show. I'm Mark Bickley. The pre-match Guernsey presentation is an integral part of the Crows' game day routine as the club commemorates its new players. Last week, we were in the rooms as 3 debutantes prepared to play their first game for the Tricolours. Despite strict social distancing protocols, the Crows ensured families were still able to share in the historic occasion.
Crop, get the privilege of giving you Guernsey, mate. Number 229 for the Adelaide Footy Club.
Benny Keys, obviously come down from Brisbane. You've worked your ass off since you've got here.
Mate, really proud of you for this achievement. You've worked so hard since you've been at the club and also before you came to the club. We all love you. We can't wait to see you out there nipping around.
Jumper presentations are critical to footy clubs. They're one of those rituals that means a lot to not only the debutant but the club for the way in which we can express to a player how important it is to wear the Guernsey.
2 words that I think of as you're bloody determined fella. That's 3. And you're very loyal, mate, so I wish you all the best. I know your family will be really proud watching from home.
Hey Benny, congratulations on making your debut with the Adelaide Football Club. We're all here to cheer you on.
Hey Ben, congratulations mate. You know I've got KO on about 5 different devices, ready to watch the game. Just enjoy yourself mate, and we'll catch up next week. Have fun.
Hi Ned. Hi Bear. We'd just like to say you've given us so many exciting and proud moments over your last 19 years, but we really think this one tops it. We love you and just enjoy the next few hours.
To have the families involved in the jumper presentation is critical. So we now present the jumper in a box which on the inside of the lid explains the history of the Guernsey and how the design came to be. And each of our players receives a letter from a past player congratulating them on making the team and reflecting on what it was like for them to represent the club and how proud that was for them in their careers.
All the best, mate, and enjoy.
So all the best tonight and get into it.
It's going to be a long career, so first of many. I can't wait to play with you, mate.
We look forward to seeing more from these new faces as the season progresses. Well, the Crows arrived on the Gold Coast yesterday, where they'll spend the next few weeks in the AFL's quarantine hub. Moving an entire club interstate for an extended period of time certainly has its challenges. We found out how the Crows are prepared for their stint in the Sunshine State.
There's been a hell of a lot of preparation over 2 or 3 weeks' time. The good part for us is that the Fremantle and the West Coast have already been up there, so we've learned a bit off what's worked for them and what hasn't worked for them. But it's a hell of a lot bigger than just a normal away game, One of the things that we're doing differently is we're taking up our whole gym with us, so that's a fairly big thing in itself.
So we're going to have 2 flights. Unfortunately, I can't take 155 pieces of equipment, so I'm going up early with 77 pieces, and the rest of the equipment will come on the chartered plane with any additional stuff that we might need in between. So we'll be close to 155 plus and close to 3 tonnes when we're limited to 1. So it's more gear than normal.
I suppose the most challenging part is the combination of you're moving the whole club up there, yet you've still got all these AFL protocols that you've got to stick by, and that's for everybody, whether it's captain's runs and staying in groups of 8 and keeping people apart and all that sort of stuff. So the combination of the 2 is pretty hairy.
They know their roles. He's just giving them extra roles to do that someone else would do that's no longer here. They now need to do it. So it's being calm and I suppose polite in some aspects of everyone just being cool under the pressure and getting the job done as best as we can.
The good part is that I went up there in 2017 with our women's team when they won the premiership up there, and there's a whole upstairs area that we've got full rights of. So we'll have a gym set up there, a team meeting room set up there, an area to eat set up there, and some treatment rooms. So we'll have the whole upstairs area, it's a great space. We've got a young team, and getting them together when they've actually had to be separated for a long period of time, and it's not, I've thought about young guys like Fisher McCasey and Josh Worrell, and these new guys, Harry Schoenberg, it's difficult for them. So I think, out of a negative having to go away from Adelaide for a few weeks, there's a real positive for those young guys to get it more embedded into the team.
More to come on the Crows Show, and after the break, we catch up with Crows head of football, Adam Kelly.
The trial game in particular, we wanted to ensure that our senior coach and his line coaches had the opportunity to watch the game.
Welcome back. I'm Alana Smith. With the Crows temporarily based in Queensland, we thought we'd look back at one of their most memorable wins up north. Back in 2011, Adelaide played their first match against the Gold Coast at Metricon Stadium. Veteran Scott Thompson collected a record of 51 disposals, leading his side to a much-needed victory against the Suns. Thanks to the club's major partner Toyota, let's revisit that match.
That was my second last year, and we travelled up to sunny Queensland. Tomo was on the end of everything.
Thompson brought up his half century. Thompson hits 50 and Nathan Riley misses the goal.
Big afternoon for yourself. I'm not quite sure if you're aware. Any idea of roughly how many touches you may have had?
No idea, mate. Fill me in.
Well, let me tell you, you've smashed Mark Rasciuto's record at the Crows, anyhow, which I'll wrap about, but 51 touches today, 21 kicks, 30 handballs. It's their afternoon.
I don't believe you.
Will the Crows answer here? Thompson.
He was telling everyone after the game he had leather poisoning, and I do remember the runner coming out when he was in the mid-40s and sent him back off because he wanted to get his 50s. Pretty selfish, old Tomo.
51 touches, seriously, mate. Just once again, 51.
Yeah, like I said, mate, it's nice to find a bit of the ball. I don't know what else to say.
I think he had a bit of a help from the big ruckman, Sauce Jacobs, who had plenty of hit-outs, so a lot of the credit has to go to the big Sauce, I reckon. For us, we'd had a tough year. They were a young team, and we knew they wouldn't have had the fitness levels and the conditioning we had over a period, so we just had to keep at them, and we knew the game would open up. So, our experience probably got us over the line, and to get a 10-goal win in the end was a good day. No, I always got along well with Bix. It was a tough gig for him, but he came in and did a really good job in that period. Obviously, some uncertainty with coaches. It was good for him to come in and finish the year off with us.
The Adelaide Crows have just done what they've needed to do. They kicked 18 goals this afternoon. They kicked 16 of those in the first and final quarter. The winning margin in the end, 61 points.
Well, the only place you can find all the official Crows news is at afc.com.au. Connect with the club via their social media accounts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And for even more footy stories, check out @The Crows Show on Twitter. The coronavirus pandemic forced AFL clubs to stand down most of their employees. Despite the restart of the 2020 season, financial implications caused by the industry shutdown mean the football departments are still operating with minimal staff. We caught up with head of football Adam Kelly to find out how the Crows are sharing the workload.
Moved into match play now, and so we've got games for non-selected players being played as trial games, and then on the weekend just gone, we've had the 2 matches on the one day, so you're trying to spread what is available football staff across multiple roles, which means we've all got to get used to doing a few different tasks than what we might be used to. When you look at the game on the weekend, the trial game in particular, we wanted to ensure that our senior coach and his line coaches had the opportunity to watch the game, and so there were a few of us who had to go out and perform some of those match day duties, and I got to run the boundary and Dan Jackson got to run the goals, and that's just part of helping out. And I did pull up a little bit sore from the experience, but everyone's chipping in and we've all got the same sort of mindset. I think what it's done this period is actually bring the group closer together, and as a football club, mantra we're operating under at the moment is prioritising others, and when we ask of each other to put your hand up, help out, and people are more than happy to do so. We see it as really important for our players to get that opportunity to get some match play, and we know that they got a lot out of last Saturday's experience.
Coming up, we're at the drive-in with some passionate Crows supporters.
It is weird, but it's just good to see some footy again. And it's good just to get out the house as well.
Yeah.
Game day preparation is different for every professional footballer. In 2018, defender David McKay changed his pre-match routine following the birth of his new child. D-Mac was kind enough to give us a look at his life as a dad, and today we're revisiting the story thanks to Bendigo Bank.
Hey guys, welcome to my place. We've got the big game this afternoon against the GWS Giants, so thought I'd give you a bit of an insight into what we do before a game in terms of preparation, so come on in. Food is a really important part of our preparation, making sure that we eat the right food at the right time. So for myself, I like to eat 3 hours before the first bounce. With a 4:10 game, I'll have a lunch that is a salad chicken roll, and then I have this little concoction too, which I have before every game, which is a bit of last night's leftover pasta, and also a little bit of brown rice and quinoa, which is a bit of a combination mixture that I've developed over time. It's time to pack the bag for the game. So a few key things need to include, obviously runners, really important for the warm-up. Socks here and bathers, so I like to wear bathers under my shorts for every game. Lucky bathers, you might say. Boots, obviously, really important, so put them in, and can't go anywhere without the water bottle either. Most of our stuff, like our jumper and shorts and that sort of thing, warm-up top, they're already at the ground waiting for us, so the club do a good job of making sure they're clean and ready to go for when we arrive at the ground. With a late afternoon game or a night game, gives me a lot of time to hang out with the little ones. So this is Lucy, she's a couple months old, and she's just woken up, haven't you? My little boy Will, who's 1.5, he's still sound asleep. He'll wake up in time for the footy, and he'll come along and have a run around in the rooms afterwards. He loves that. We're just on our way to the ground now. Have a little bit of a drive in, and then once I get to the ground, I like to keep my routine pretty similar every week. So go for a wander out in the ground, get a feel for the conditions, and then it's into getting strapped, some physio treatment, mobility and stretching, and slowly build up to the first bounce and get amped up to go for that.
The Crows trained at West Lakes last week before making the trip up north. Thanks to Flight Centre, let's fly around social media to see what the players shared with their followers. returned to Adelaide Oval last weekend, but there were only a handful of fans that were able to attend Showdown 48. That didn't stop diehard supporters from finding a unique way to watch the game with fellow members of the Crows family, thanks to the drive-in cinema at Jeps Cross.
It is weird, but it's just good to see some footy again. And it's good just to get out the house as well. Yeah.
It's weird we're all here, but you know, it's the time we live in.
I think it's pivotal, events like that, the connection between club and supporters is something we need to have a good look at, and it's absolutely great to have that availability. Some of my colleagues went down and they had a great time, albeit it wasn't the best game for us, but they still had fun, and that's what it's all about.
Dumps a long one to Fogarty, got hands to it, couldn't hang on. They've got numbers here, Adelaide. Sloane's going to walk in, and there's the first goal of the showdown.
All about communication, that's the key, especially in the supporter group. We're a close-knit family, so it's communication's key in keeping everyone informed. We use we've got our own Facebook page, the Official Crows Supporters Group, our own website, crows.com.au, and our monthly supporter group newsletter published by Jenny Smart. We're hoping in the next few stages of restrictions that have been lifted that we'll be able to plan something, an event or a get-together or a dinner or something like that. So I did watch it at home, and I did say to a few friends that it feels weird not being there. I've only missed probably 2 or 3 games at Adelaide Oval since we moved there, but understanding the situation, and it was a bit like round 1, you just knew that you couldn't be there.
Coming up, we find out how supporters have embraced the return of footy.
Well, despite the club's disappointing result last week, fans were excited to see the Crows return to the field. Thanks to Optus, we scrolled through social media to see how supporters prepared for the big game.
While some dressed up for the occasion, former Crow Ryan Fitzgerald opted to keep his clothes off, watching the match in tri-coloured underwear. The defeat meant some passionate fans lost a friendly bet with mates. This supporter was forced to wear a power guernsey with his Crows footy shorts for the next 7 days.
Well, it's time for Matthew Nix to answer a question from a fan, thanks to Thomas Farms. This week, Michael has a personal question for the senior coach. He wants to know how often Nixie shaves his head and whether he prefers to use a razor or the clippers.
Michael, yeah, very relevant question, because I've actually just gone from the shaver to the clippers. Not really a choice, unfortunately. The clippers broke early in our quarantine period, so I was forced to go to the blades until a new clippers arrived. So I'm quite enjoying now the even shorter cut. I feel a bit faster.
Well, there you go. I'm sure you've all been very curious about how Nixie maintains his bald head. That's about all from us today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you stay up to date with all the latest Crows news on afc.com.au and follow the club on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. We're back next Saturday at 3:30 p.m. on 7. Until then, enjoy the footy and go Crows. Bye for now.